Alright, all. YouTube says I'm live, so I must be live. Internet never lies, right? Yeah, you believe that when I got oceanfront property here in West Virginia to sell you. Welcome in. This is Hanging with Dave, Q&A. This is episode 53, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, episode 53. Welcome in. This is a little live show that I do on Saturday mornings here, usually around 11 a.m. I try to stick around 11 a.m. on Saturday mornings. Seems to work pretty good for my schedule. Hopefully it fits in with a lot of people's schedule, which I know a lot of people's got their own lives, and weekends the only time they have off, so I understand if you can't hang out with me. But for y'all that do, I really appreciate it. I'm glad y'all are here. A few disclaimers to throw out at the beginning of each show. I do drink me a cold Budweiser while I do the show, so cheers to y'all. I hope y'all are good on this Saturday morning. Oh, whatever time it is where you're at. Also, I am a truck driver by trade, so you may hear a little foul language, a little cuss word here and there, but I try to keep that to a minimum, but it does slip out from time to time. So if the drinking and the cussing ain't right for you, maybe this ain't the right stream for you. Also, English language. It wasn't my main subject in school, so I ain't real good with it. But I try my best when I pronounce these YouTube handles. Some of you don't have the best YouTube handles or the easiest ones to pronounce correctly. So if I butcher your names too bad, I want to apologize up front. And that goes with the comments or anything that's thrown in chat. So you either have to overlook me or you're going to get mad at me for a long time, one way or the other. Pretty much on the live stream, I go down through the comments that's been left on my videos for the past week. I take any kind of questions or comments that's thrown over there in chat. Any kind of video ideas you may have, I'll take them into consideration. Any way I can improve the channel or, anything you think I can do a little bit better, I'd be more than happy to put some research into it and see what I think about it. Before I get started, I also want to thank everybody that watches my videos and does leave comments and shares them and likes them and all that good happy stuff. It really means a lot to me. So I guess we'll flip you over here and we'll start going down through these comments. When it comes to overclocking questions, which I don't think I have any this week, but every once in a while on my overclocking videos, I get questions like, I got these particular ports, what can I push them to and this and that. What number should I use? It's kind of, that's the fun of overclocking, is see what you can get out of your components. My videos is designed to show you how to do it. And you need to take it from there and see what you can do and see what you can actually get out of your components, because that's one thing about being on a budget or not having a whole lot of money is to get your best performance you can out of your system. That's why I do the overclocking videos. Just keep that in mind when you're typing your comments or questions in, even if I had the exact same ports, your ports may do better than mine. They may not do quite as good as mine. And I got a little buddy here with me today. Apparently my cat back there laying on the computer back there. She's back there sleeping away. Hopefully she stays sleeping. But we're going to flip you over here and we'll start going down through these comments and questions and concerns and everything else that's been left on the channel here. Last week episode, we have Ben Herman, Hammering, I guess. Last week's episode, Hanging Out with Dave, episode 52. Dave's Techway, thank you for what you do. I watched your video where you built the system using the Gigabyte B450M DS3H motherboard and the Deep Cool Tazerac SW Blue. Following your lead, I was able to build my new system successfully, and it's been running like a charm for a year plus. Well, you're welcome. Glad I could help you out. I'm glad that system's running good and strong for you. The next one we got here on our hit list, we have the Arcan QC. That was on how to update the Asus BIOS, Asus Prime X470 Pro. Apparently that's a different language, so I threw it in the Google Translate here. And It looks like he kind of misspelled it himself by what Google Translate's saying. It's saying it's French, and he missed a few key words there or something. I don't know. But he says, what language is that? Well, it's kind of English, but kind of slang at the same time. Like I said, English ain't my strong point, so my videos is just me talking, you know. So I use a lot of slang in my videos, but yeah, that should be English. We have Peppy TV. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B450M DS3H motherboard. Hi, how can I use my RAM 3200 megahertz? If you're on that particular chipset, or especially that particular motherboard, I think I went into pretty good detail on how to get the best out of it. Just go in and change your multiplier to 3200. You'll have to loosen your timings up some. You know, you just have to play around with it and see what you can get out of it. You know, it's like I mentioned just a few seconds ago, you know. You know, my videos just show you how to get it done. You know, it's kind of up to you to sit there and put in the time to figure out how to get it done, or what you can get out of your components. Let's see here. We have El Hayes, I guess is the way you pronounce that. Gigabyte Radeon RX 5600 XT WindForce OC graphics card benchmarks. How are your temperatures on this card? I just bought the same card for my build. Thanks, very nice video, man. Charles T replied to him, when I max out settings, I never hit above 65 or so. I also set fan curves and Radeon settings, so the fans are at 65% when it hits 60 degrees Celsius. Play around with the fan curve settings as much as you would like, depending on your case airflow and tolerability for fan noise levels. And he gave, I want to thank Chris T there for answering back to him and giving him some advice. Appreciate that. I like seeing that in my comments. I haven't really got to stress test that video card yet. When I was doing my benchmarkings, I was seeing it was getting up to 72, 73 degrees, I believe it was, in the benchmarks. If you go back and actually watch the video of the gameplay, you can see the temperature of the GPU in the top right hand corner, or in the top left hand corner. I think it was reading 72, 73 is the max. And that was, you know, very little gameplay. And it's also like Charles T said, you know, it depends on your airflow, depends on your case. I'm using the Messified C Mini with that, with the stock fans. Got one intake and one exhaust. And them kind of cords, you know, they kind of depend on the airflow of the case to keep them cool. I haven't really stress tested it yet to be able to sell the system yet. It's actually still, that's one that Cat's actually sleeping on back there. But you know, like I said, it was hitting up in the 70s. You know, check your system, check your temperatures. If it's hitting a little high, maybe go and adjust your fan curves. Even your fan curves on the fans that bringing air in and out of your case will actually affect that. Check your fan curves over the graphics card. Make sure they're set up properly. You know, if needed, maybe add an extra fan to the intake or to the exhaust side of your case. You know, your case has a lot to do with that, and the amount of fans or air coming through your case and exhaust, and that makes a big difference as well. That would be my best, but like I said, you know, even with them short benchmarks I was running, I've seen up into the 70s. But that's still, it's still all right for a graphics card to run like that. You know, I mean, I think that's pretty common. Pretty common temperature for a GPU to be running, because that is I mean, it does, I mean, they're more efficient than what they used to be, but it's still, you know, it still runs a good bit of power through that graphics card, so the temperatures could be a little high on you. Who else do we got? I'm not even going to try to pronounce you. I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher you that bad. It was on how to choose your RAM for your AMD Ryzen gaming computer. I have a question. He says, hello, I have a question. The memory socket support tells me that only one socket and socket 2 are supported 3200 megahertz. Now I use socket 1 and 3 dual channel, so basically I cannot change my RAM speed to 3200 megahertz. But if I install my RAM socket 1 and 2, I will not have dual channel. My specs are X5700 ORS Elite and RAM. Please give me some advice on what to do. X57 or Elite, huh? Well, let's check out the motherboard here. Go up here and we'll throw that in search. There we go. Scroll down through here. Where's the memory conductivity at? Specs and overview. Let's see what we can find out on the RAM sockets here, if they have anything listed. Let's do this. I like Newegg better. Copy and paste. There we go. 50, ORS Elite AMD. There we go. The specs. Memory. Number of memory slots. You got 4 of them. 3rd gen AMD Ryzen processor. Supports for DDR4. All the different speeds that you pretty well need. 3rd gen Ryzen with integrated graphics. Pretty well everything that you need. 2nd gen. Where is he finding the information about the RAM? Memory. AMD 5000 series processors. Supports all the different things. 3rd gen AMD Ryzen processor supports. 3rd gen with Radeon graphics. 2nd gen 4x4 DRAM supporting up to 128 gigs, 32 gigs per single DIMM capacity of memory. Dual channel memory architecture, supports ECC and buffer DM. Supports non-buffer DM. Module supports for extreme memory profile, XMP. Please refer to the list for more information. I'm not too sure on where you're getting your information from. Only socket 1 and 2 are supported 3200 megahertz. Now I use socket 1 and 3 for dual channel, so basically I cannot change my RAM speed to 3200. But if I install my RAM in socket 1 and 2, I will not have dual channel. I'm not seeing nothing on the website or on Newegg either way about that happening. I mean, I don't have that motherboard. I really don't know what to actually say on that one. By looking at the motherboard, let's see if we can get a closer picture of it here. If you're doing dual channel on this motherboard, it looks like B2 and A2, which should be your most outer DIMM slot. Then you skip one, then you put it in the other one. You should be alright with that. By looking at the motherboard, by looking at the websites I've got pulled up here, which the one is Asus or Gigabyte themselves, and Newegg, as long as you use them 2 DIMM slots, you should be alright to run 3200 megahertz speed. A2 and B2, which is your most outer bank one, and then you skip one, then you go into your 3rd one. It looks like that would be would probably be the best solution for you. I don't know where you're getting your info from, or if you're personally experiencing this. If you're personally experiencing it, I'd say check with Gigabyte, maybe get a refund on your motherboard. Let's see what their support page says for that RAM kit. I don't know. He didn't say what processor he's running, did he? He didn't say what processor he was running. So we'll go with this one. This is the newest one. Let's get it loaded up here where we can see a little bit of something. Which kit does he got? Where's that? There it is. It's on the supported list. I don't see where you should be having much problem with it. 3200 megahertz speed. It's on the QVL list. I'm not too sure on why you're having issues with that RAM. Not unless like I said, unless the motherboard is malfunctioning somehow. If you put them in the recommended slots, which, like I showed you, is A1 or what was it, A1 and B1 or whatever it is. That start out with the most outer RAM slot, skip one, and go into the third one. You should be good to go, and you should be able to get up to 3200 megahertz without no problem. If that's not happening, I'd check with Gigabyte and maybe send your motherboard back, because it sounds like your motherboard may have a malfunction in it. That would be my best suggestion for that one. Hope that kind of helps you a little bit. But I've never seen a motherboard support a certain speed just in two different sockets like that. Let's see here. So we got Gendel Auriga Diaz, I guess. Radeon RX 5600 XT went for its unboxing and overview. I'll buy one soon. Great video. Thanks. You're welcome. I've actually been working on some of the benchmarks for that video card. For the video card when I ran that one. And that's a very good 1080p gamer. And you know, I mean, if you're looking at 1080p games, you know, 60 hertz at least, you know, that's a pretty strong contender. Kind of pumps out them frame rates pretty good at 1080p for most graphics cards, or for most games. I think it's a pretty good one. We have Kalaba Manji, I guess, how to build a computer in the Corsair 200R. Boy, that's an old video. Thanks a ton, David. You're welcome a ton. Glad I could help you out with that build guide. I'm gonna flip you guys over for a second. I want to look at something real quick. I got there we go. That's what I thought. For some reason, my chat ain't showing up. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here's the screen that I normally look at. It's the playback inside a YouTube studio. And my chat's blank for some reason. I don't know why, but it's blank. So y'all been talking to me in chat. There's one why I didn't have nobody in chat talking to me. But I guess that kind of explains it. Why that's happening. But man, I don't like that view either. Gives you the tunnel of death. So we'll put that one over there, and we'll keep that screen up so I can read chat, I guess. There we go. The tunnel of death's gone. All right, here we go here. Marva. Hi, can you spell my name? Hey, Dave. Flynn Wilson? Your Q, yeah. Cool CA 105 review, please. What is that? That's an all-in-one, ain't it? If I'm not mistaken. I believe it's an all-in-one. It's a gaming case. Alright. C105. Do-do. Do-do-do. You want a review on that case? I'm actually looking for a mid-tower case actually for a build. I don't have a temple side glass panel on it. Maybe I'll consider doing a review on that one. I'll keep that one in mind. What should I buy? 4TH hard drive or a 5 terabyte hard drive? I take it that you got a lot of storage. If you have a lot of storage, I mean, a 4th hard drive or a 5 terabyte. How many hard drives you have in your system now? I mean, you know, if you got 3 1 terabyte hard drives, it's going to give you an extra terabyte of space. But if you go to 5 terabytes, that means you're going to have up to 5 terabytes of space. So, you know, you may end up being better off by getting the 5 terabytes. It's kind of hard to say without knowing what kind of storage you've already got. There, AeroCool CS105, please. I will check into maybe doing a review on that case. Maybe do a review on it, send it back. I don't know. But I will check into that. Not reading the chat today. Well, actually I showed you guys and my chat wasn't showing up for some reason with the way I normally watch the stream. I don't know why that was. But it wasn't showing up. Massacre 1878. Hey Dave, hope you and the family had a good Thanksgiving. Well, thank you, Maxter. We did all right. We didn't go to my family's like I normally do. I normally get together with my brother and go up around his family and celebrate the Thanksgiving. Me and the girlfriend actually, for the first time since we've been together, we both had Thanksgiving off this year, so we just kind of spent it together. I actually spent my Thanksgiving in here working on computers. We got a laptop back there laying. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's back there on top of that old case laying. I'm trying to get all the guy to get it back to him. I was running benchmarks on the 1650 and all that good happy stuff. So that was kind of my Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I mean, it wasn't bad. You know, we went together and me and the girlfriend sat down and had a decent meal. You know, she cooked the turkey and the mashed potatoes and the green beans and the stuffing. And you know, we ate good that day. Kind of missed out on my family. But, you know, with this COVID and everything going around and, you know, he has his kids and his grandbabies around and whatnot. You know, my girlfriend works in the public, you know, and I work in a warehouse or outside of the warehouse. So I'm around a lot of sketchy people that I don't really trust too well. You know, so I just figured it'd be better off for us to stay home this year. And like I said, you know, it's first Thanksgiving we both had off together. So maybe we'll make up for that lost time with the family whenever Christmas comes around. We'll see how that goes. For the AeroCool CS105, you can get a window on the side panel. You get a window side panel version of it. That may be worth me putting a build together and to resell. Which I'll get into that here in a little bit, but I plan on getting some of these systems put together and getting them sold. And it's just because of taking up a lot of space and really don't have no place to put them. Like I said, you know, the one back here has got the cat laying on top of it. That's the $900 build. I got the $600 build back here. You know, I need to get these things actually finished up and get them ready to sell. Just to get them out of my way. You know, but yeah, that's another story. And I am looking for a micro ATX case for another build I have coming up on the channel to sell. I'll take in that case into consideration. especially when I get with a side panel, because you know everybody likes to have the RGB and the side panels and all that good happy stuff to you know, if you can't why doesn't that work? What's going on here? Copy, paste, there we go. Newegg don't sell it. Must be an Amazon thing. Let's try Amazon. What's the price on it anyways? Says the CS105. Aerocool. CS105 case. I'm not finding it's on Amazon. There we go. There we go. I found her. I found her. I found it. Flip it over here. There we go. We found it. $37. Is that a micro ATX or is it an ATX case? Cool. That's the CS105BK. I don't know what the BK stands for. It is a micro ATX case. Yeah, maybe I'll get one picked up. We will, I'll see about doing one on it. Of course, to be able to actually be able to use it to have it sell here locally, at least in my local area, I'd have to get the side panel on. It's a possibility. It does look an awful like a office computer, but it's a possibility. Where's my add to wish list button? There's my add to wish list button. One item added. Alright, there it is. It's on my wish list. Yeah, I've been looking for a micro ATX case. I'll look into it and I may do a review on that for you. We'll flip you guys back over here. Now since I've got back up on chat, since YouTube didn't want me to read chat earlier today. Let's see here. I'll buy one soon. Great video. Cabela Management. I think I done got him. As I said, that was an old video. VK. Nice build for those on a budget, but still want a solid FAPS at 1080p. And that was on the $600 budget entry gaming PC for 2020. In the Cooler Master case. You can get a solid 60 fraps on that at 1080p. You just have to cut down the settings some. Which I was working on the benchmarks for that one this morning, yesterday and this morning, and over the last few days actually, when I get time to work on it. But even Borderlands 3 with S1650 OC, Borderlands 3, if you run medium settings instead of high settings, you get a solid 60 frames per second or better. But that is more of an entry-level gaming PC. That's why I call it an entry budget PC. That's about what it is. You know, it's kind of on a budget. It's for someone just looking to get into gaming. But it also has a good upgrade path. You know, it's got a 4-core processor. You know, you get all the way up to a 3700X with it, or 3950X if you want to. That gigabyte motherboard, it'd be questionable with the VRMs about the 39 or 3950X. but it should do all right for most CPUs. I mean, I don't see no reason why I couldn't run a 3700 or anything in that line on it. Plus, you could always upgrade your graphics card later on if you get the budget to do so, which that's the good thing about building your own PC. You know how to do this already, so when it comes upgrade time, you don't have to pay someone to do it. Who else do we got here? We got Baker Chan, I guess, the $600 budget entry-level gaming PC. Thanks, Dave. Great video. Well, you're welcome. Glad you enjoyed. Abin Polkatki, I guess. Entry-level, $600 1080p gaming computer ports list. I like the Mountain Dew. I did too. I rather enjoy drinking that Mountain Dew. It did taste pretty good. It is Mountain Dew, after all. And he came back on another one, $600 budget entry-level gaming PC. Just a small tip, you should add some music into the background. Well, I got more information about that coming up here after I get through the comments, questions, concerns, and the chats. Next week's video will have background music in it. Thanks to one of the subscribers. $600 budget, entry-level gaming. Nice video, Dave. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. Thanks for the support. I know you watch pretty well every video I put up, even though it may not pertain to you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the support. Raylan Phillips on a $600 budget entry level. Anyone else find budget builds more satisfying? I tell you what, with the results I've had on that video in the last few days, a lot of people's been clicking on that more than the other ones that I've got up on the channel. That one's actually doing pretty good, but the analytics really ain't up to par to see to actually figure out why people's clicking on it so much. You know what I mean, as far as what keywords they're using and whatnot, how they're finding it. So I'll be able to tell more later on about that information, but that one's actually doing pretty good for the channel. We got Raylan Phillips, $600 budget entry level. That's the one I just answered. Anyone else find budgets? Okay, here we go. Sarah T, $600 budget entry level. Pretty solid build. Yeah, I mean, it's only a quad core processor, and it's only a quad core processor, and a little lackluster as far as what most people want in graphics, but it's like I say, it is a budget and it is entry level. I think it'll serve a lot of people's needs that just now getting into computer gaming. What else do we have here? We have Lickety YT. How you pronounce that? I think that's pretty close. How to update the BIOS on the Gigabyte B450 MDS3H motherboard. Ever doing this in 2020, it works. Thank you so much. Well, you're welcome so much. And yeah, as far as updating them BIOSes on any particular motherboard, it's going to be the way it is, on the way the motherboard is. Marvin J. Pole, how to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B450M DS3H motherboard. Sir, can I overclock from 2400 megahertz with these numbers? Try and find out. I really couldn't tell you. It depends on your RAM. Depends on how your motherboard and your RAM function together. Wish I could tell you yeah, you can, but I really don't know. You guys watching me live. This is the Comments and questions over here on the screen, do they come out all right, or are they looking blurry to you? Let's see here. Who else do we have here? Who's next on our hit list? Hi, James. How you doing? Glad you stopped in to say howdy and hang out with me a little bit today. Glad you could join me. Here next on our hit list, Abraham RS. It was an edited how to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B450 MDS3H. I'm getting blue screens of death and not able to use my PC. Manually setting the timing and voltage will keep my PC stable. I'm having a Ryzen 5 3500 Gigabyte B450 DS3H motherboard with two 8x3200 MHz Corsair LPX engines. Yeah, if your XMP is causing you to crash, thank you, Masker. You can read the comments fine. All right, because in my preview in my little preview window up there, they look a little blurry. That's why I was asking. Yeah, because if you're getting blue screens of death, your RAM's causing it to crash, and that's the only thing you're changing is going to be your RAM. So mainly overclocking your RAM should stabilize it for you. You just have to take some time and figure out what that RAM and your motherboard and CPU combination can handle. But yeah, that sounds like it will stabilize. Like I say, you got to put a little bit of time into it and a little bit of effort to figure out what the best is you can actually get out of it. Let's see here. Anything else come in? Most likely not, but we'll check just to be on the safe side. Finn Watson, can you do a review on the Aerocool CS15 or D? Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that one for you. I'm going to put it, I got it on my wish list on Amazon. If I can get it for the side panel, I got the B450 motherboard, Ryzen 2400 with the RX 580. I'm going to throw into a build to sell. And maybe I'll pick that case up and do a review for you. Can't guarantee when it's going to get done, but I'll keep it in my mind. Held for review, nothing. Likely spam, nothing. Hey, I don't have no haters this week. Imagine that. How's that going to happen? Nice detailed video you have made for the BIOS update for the B450 motherboard. Well, thank you. Thank you, James. I try to do pretty in-depth videos for what I show on the channel. I try to slow it down. I know a lot of YouTubers and other people out there doing this kind of content, they rush through so fast that people can't understand what's going on. I try to take a little bit of a slower pace to it, and try to make sure everybody can understand what I'm trying to get the point across to. But I'm glad you enjoyed that video. I'm glad it was. It sounds like it helps you get your BIOS up to date. I think it's going to do it pretty much for the comments and the questions this week. If you have anything else you'd like to add, throw it over there in the throw it over there in that chat box over there, and I'll be more than happy to answer as much as you can. As far as this week's video, it's actually already uploaded. I don't know if you can actually see that or not. But right there's this week's video, how to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte. Well, you can't read it because it's too blocked out, but on the B550 MDS3H motherboard. And there's a reason why I'm doing that video, which I go into it inside the video. There was a comment that was left, a couple months ago, I guess now. Let me see if I can get the comment pulled up here. It was on the Gigabyte B450 DS3H RAM overclocking video. Someone actually requested this one. There it is. Diego, he commented and wanted to know if I could do the RAM overclocking for the B550 motherboard, DS3H. That's one of the main reasons it fit inside the budget, and I was able to pick it up for a $600 build. That was one of the main reasons why I bought that, that motherboard. And it is MDS3H is a pretty good, solid little budget motherboard. And I want to do that RAM overclocking video because it is completely different than the B450 chipset is. James, 1650 Super or 1660 Super for budget builds with a 450 watt power supply? 1650 or 1660? I think either one of them could probably run off of a 450 watt power supply. 1660 Super. If I ain't mistaken, you can actually get both of them without an external power supply. Specs, recommendations. Depending on which 1660 you're going with, that's what I pulled up here is a 1660 Super. They'll only recommend a 450 watt power supply for that unit. To either the 1650 or the 1660. For budget builds with a 450 watt power supply, I'd go with, if you want to put the cash out, I'd go with the 1660 Super. The 1660 Super and the 1650 Super, they're awful close. But still yet, a 16 Super will give you a little bit more headroom. So, I mean, if you got the extra budget, I'd go with the 1660 Super. And I think most of these are going to be the same thing. It's going to recommend at least a 450 watt power supply to them. Yeah, recommended PSU 450 watt. You should be fine with either one. If you got the extra cash, go with the 1660 Super. It's a little bit faster cord, especially for 1080p gaming. Like I said, I think I believe the 1650, 1660 Supers are going a little bit higher. Now what's going on here? Why ain't that splitting? There we go. 1650 Supers. What's the kind of price difference are we looking at? 1650 Super. Let's by lowest price. We'll sort these by lowest price. You got 229. Of course, all of them is going to be out of stock. Them go for 169. Yeah, if you got the budget, I'd get the 1660 Super. I think you'll have a better 1080p gaming experience. I'm assuming you're going for 1080p gaming. If you got the extra cash, I mean, you're looking at what, $70, $80 difference. If you can spare the extra $70, $80, they'll both be all right with a 450 watt power supply. I'd go with the 1660 Super. Yeah, the 1650 is only recommended 350 watt power supply. Depends on what you can get and what you can actually afford, but if you can afford the 1660, that's what I would go with. I went with the 1650 and that $600 build just because it fit inside the budget. And actually in that video, I said, you know, if you can find it for the same price or around about, I'd go with the RX 570 from AMD, which gives you a little bit better performance, you know, if you can find it for around the same price. Hi Dave, I have a Gigabyte B450DS3H and some Corsair Vengeance 3200 megahertz RAM, and whenever I put them in XMP, my PC randomly turns off. What should I do? XMP is too strong of an overclock for it. If you go back and watch the video, I'd go back and manually overclock it. I'd start out with the XMP profiles, type in the exact same settings and try it. If you're still having issues, maybe go back and turn your... I'd start out at that point. If you're mainly putting in the XMP settings and you're still crashing and whatnot, I'd try to turn back the timing on it a little bit. 3200, maybe take it down to, I don't know, 3000 megahertz or something like that, 31, 33 megahertz, and just slowly crank it back, because apparently something in your system ain't liking that 3200 megahertz speed RAM. You know, when you go into, whenever you go into overclocking, you know, some RAMs or some motherboards is more compatible than others. But that's what I would do. I'd go in and just mainly set all the settings the same as XMP. It gives you a good starting point, and then just kind of crank your megahertz back a little bit till it becomes stable. Or you could possibly put in the same megahertz and maybe add a little bit more RAM to a little bit more voltage to it, which I recommend going with 1.35, which that's what a lot of XMP profiles automatically set your voltage to. Maybe kick it up to 1.4 or something on the voltage. I wouldn't recommend much over the 1.4 voltage on your RAM, but that would be an option to be able to get to run at 3200 megahertz. Or you could take the 3200 megahertz, leave everything the same as XMP, and just turn back that timing to, like I said, you know, 31, 33 or something like that, whatever the next available one is down to you. And see if it runs stable with that. You give up a little bit of speed, but you know, the stability is pretty important. You know, having fast RAM ain't that big of a deal if it ain't stable and you can't use the system. Hey Dave, look forward to the next video. Well, thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. It'll be coming out. I got it scheduled for Wednesday. Goes live on Wednesday. I want to thank you all for watching the videos and the comments you guys left on last week's videos. Everything like that, you know, means a lot to me. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks for the tip. You're welcome. That'd be my best bet on that RAM situation. But I want to thank you all for the comments and the likes and the shares on the videos. And I know a lot of you guys watch my videos and it really don't even concern you, or it ain't something you'd be interested in, but I appreciate the support by you guys watching them. Really means a lot to me. It kind of helps boost the videos up into the algorithm for YouTube. I've been working the last few days on benchmarking the 1650 Super, or not the Super, the 1650 OC gigabyte card that I have. So they'll be coming up maybe next week or possibly the following week. I like to get up to 2 videos a week plus the live stream, but I haven't been able to find the time to get all that done. A lot of my spare time goes into my YouTube. But there will be some background music in the next video for you guys that's asked for me to put background music. Anorv, are you still in the chat? I'm actually using some of yours for next week's video. I don't know if you're still in the chat or not, but I forgot to mention that you provided the music, background music for the video by saying it verbally, but I did actually put it in the description of the video. I'll flip you guys over here. I don't know if you can see this or not. Blow that up a little bit there. But right there, the background music was provided by, and I did that just to give you a thanks for it. Like I said, I wasn't too sure if I was going to use it in that video or not, so I didn't say it at the end in the outro. But there you at least get credit for it. And that was the first track that you sent me. So I am going to, I'm going to try it. I don't know if I want to stick with the background music. I'm going to see how other people like it. Thought I had a comment this week about putting background music in my videos. I think I did. There was someplace. You know, I've had quite a few people ask about putting background music in, so I'm gonna see what people actually think about it. I don't know. We'll try it out, see what happens. Blueberry Pie 157. Your drum-less SSD worth it? Or DRAM-less SSDs worth it? How much RAM do you recommend for a 3200G from SZ Zaki? You know, I run the 660p Intel NVMe hard drive in mine. That's a DRAM NVMe drive, and I've had no problems with it. A lot of people say they slow down with long region writes. I'm into 4K video editing now, and I haven't seen much problems with it. As far as DRAM goes, like I said, the one I run don't have no DRAM to it, and I have no problem with mine. I have no issues with it. And I've ran SSDs with DRAM. I ran this one without DRAM. I really don't really notice a difference in the two. You know, I'm not a specialist on the hard drives or whatnot, but you know, I have no issues with mine and the speeds that I get out of it. How much RAM do you recommend for the 3200G? About 2 gigs. You talking system RAM, or do you dedicate to the VRAM? Thanks, man. It really helped. Well, you're welcome, Blueberry Pie. As far as the RAM for the 3200 for the system, you running the onboard graphics. If you're running the Vega, Vega 8 graphics on the 3200G, I wouldn't put no more than 2 gigs of VRAM for the graphics. So if you get a 16 gig kit, you're down to 14 gigs of system memory, and it's only a 4-core 8-thread processor, or 3200G. That's only a 4-core processor. The only thing it's got hyper-threading, I don't believe. 3200G. They got hyper-threading to it. 4 cores, 4 threads. If you get 16 gig kit, you're looking at still having 14 gigs available. You're looking at a quad-core processor. I think you'd be plenty with 16 gigs. That's if you're using onboard graphics. If you ain't using onboard graphics, then you know, it leaves 16 gigs just for your CPU usage. I think you'd be fine with a 16 gig kit. My Gigabyte B450 motherboard with the Ryzen 2200G has 4 RAM slots. Can I use all of the RAM slots with different RAM brands and frequencies? You can, James. You can run it. You can run any RAM you want to together. The big thing to keep in mind about mix matching your RAM, if you have a couple RAM modulars that's running at 3200 megahertz and you got a couple that runs at 2133, You have one that runs at 3400 megahertz, whatever. They're all going to run at the slowest speed. You know, so if you got a 2666 memory in there, or 2133 memory, 3200, you know, they're all going to run at that slowest speed. That slowest speed is going to be what determines what your speed will run at. Even though the rest of your RAM will and can run beyond that, it won't let it. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you go mixing your RAM speeds, unless you're happy with what the minimum is, you know, what the lowest set is that you got. I mean, it's possible that it will work. There's some RAM that won't even be compatible with each other. You also got to keep that in mind. But most generally, they will all work together. It just they run at the slowest speed. Does hyper-threading have a lot of performance increase in gaming compared to not having it? Matt, that all depends on the games that you're playing mostly. And depending on the games you play and how CPU intensive the game is. You know, there's some games out there, like, you know, like Fortnite, will run fine on a quad-core processor. You get in some of the AAA titles, and they'll peg a quad-core out easily. But the hyper-threading will help relieve some of that bottleneck from the CPU. And, you know, it's kind of hard to determine, you know, depending on the games you play, the resolution that you play. You know, you see a lot of YouTubers with these big fancy graphics card, you know, and that's why they use the big fancy graphics card for the testing, especially at 1080p gaming, because 1080p gaming puts a lot of stress on your CPU. Now, does it relieve it? Hyper-threading will relieve it if your CPU's hitting that bottleneck, if that's holding back your graphics card. You know, but that mainly comes down to the titles that you play. And of course, the more cores and the more threads that you have, the better performance you're going to have out of your CPU. That's going to stop it from holding back the GPU. I mean, I'd have to actually have to have a breakdown your components and whatnot, and what kind of games you play, and all that to actually answer that question completely for you. But hyper-threading can relieve some of the CPU bottleneck, yes. Blueberry Pie, what SATA 3 128 gigabyte SSD do you recommend for an OS drive? For the SATA 3 drives, if you've seen any of my builds lately, let me see if I can pull them up here. And I actually just put one in that laptop behind me. This one right here, I've been using these a lot in builds, is just as a boot drive. These silicon powers. This is 512 gigs. You're getting 512 gigs for 50 bucks. You're looking at 128. You're looking at about $19. You know, for 128 gig SSD for a boot drive. And I've never ran into no problem. I've got 3 or 4 of them laying around here for the builds. And I've used it for the $900 system, the $600 system. I picked up an extra one for the Gigabyte B450 system I'm going to be putting back together to sell. And they seem to be holding out very well. The laptop behind me, over there on the Cooler Master case over there, you know, it's got the silicon power Ace A55, but it's a 1 terabyte hard drive. I mean, if you're looking for price and performance, I'd go with these. And the only reason I started going with these is because they have pretty good reviews on the, as far as Newegg and Amazon both go, they have pretty good reviews on them. They seem to be holding up well. And like I said, you know, right there at Newegg today, you can get it for, you get it for $1 off, I guess. It was $19.99, now it's down to $18.99. And especially being on a budget, And if you're putting a 128 gig boot drive in there, I'd say you're on a budget. Yeah, something like that. I think it'd work good for you. Matt, makes sense. Thanks, Dave. No, you're welcome. Appreciate that. Blueberry pie. Thanks a lot, Dave. No, you're welcome. Silicon powering, I've heard about them for years. I haven't really used them much besides the last year or so. But with the hard drives that I've used of them, they seem to be pretty stable, pretty reliable. Put them in several systems that have sold and whatnot. They seem to be holding up well. And of course, you sell a system to somebody, if something goes bad within the first couple months or so, you're going to hear about it. I haven't heard nothing back from them guys that bought them systems. So I don't see no reason not to recommend their products. I done showed you guys the videos coming up next week. Like I said, I've been working on the benchmarks for the 1650 OC card. I've been trying to get them together. Also, hold on a second, guys. Which I haven't even put this out on Instagram or Twitter yet. I haven't got to take a photo of them yet. But they have these fans come in. Right there, they are a deep cool fan. They're the RF120Ms, RGB LED fans. I thought these were a pretty good deal. If you tuned into last week's show, I was very unhappy with the RGB fans and lights that I got ordered from Amazon. So I was looking for an alternative. And of course, I'm kind of picky when it comes to fans, especially having to a case that for a system that I'm going to sell. Let me see if I can find them here for you. Right there they are. Flip them over there. Right there. I was very unhappy with the LED strips that came with these fans. I bought 6 extra fans as well, because they're going to put 5 fans in each system. And I was very unhappy with what I got for the money. So I actually sent them all back. And this here's what I've ordered, and this is what I've got in my hand to replace them with. Which I'd like to have your guys' see what you guys think about this. Is the Deep Cool Gimmicks 400 VQ CPU cooler good for overclocking? Depends on the CPU. Yeah. The Gimmicks 400 V2, I believe that's a 4-pipe heatsink, ain't it? I believe. I think that's kind of up there with the Hyper 212, which it does the job, but to get you max performance, yeah, it's kind of a Deep Cool branded, kind of the Deep Cool branded with the 4 heat pipes. Kind of looks like the Hyper 212, which I ran the Hyper 212 for years. I actually have one back there in the back there on the shelf actually. They ain't the best for overclocking. They're a lot better than the stock heat sinks are. But it's just kind of Deep Cool's branding of Hyper 212. For the 2600 or the 30 or the Ryzen 3 3100. The 4 heat pipe design for overclocking on either one of them CPUs, I think you'd be all right. You should do decent for CPU cooling as far as that goes. Of course, you're looking at budget. them's gonna do. I mean, even the Hyper T4 that I had on my system there for a while, that I put it on the 3600, it couldn't hold up to overclocking the 3600. Depends on your motherboard as well. Now, like that Asus, if you run an Asus motherboard, they got quite a bit better VRMs for overclocking. And if you're really looking to max out your overclock, you're going to need something a little bit better than that, I believe. If you're looking at like the B450 by Gigabyte, the B550 Gigabyte DS3H motherboards, you'll be all right, because the VRM supply ain't very well built on them motherboards. And so you're looking at the 2600 or 3100. Which motherboard you plan on running, Blueberry Pie? That's going to be the other question. What kind of VRMs it's got? You know, what can the motherboard actually produce? ASRock Pro 4. ASRock. Some ASRock motherboards are pretty good overclocking, but not always. The B450, I have the 3200G, and I'm looking to get a 1660 Super. Do you think it will be bottlenecked in any way? 3200G with 1660 Super? Nah. That 3200G is a quad-core processor without hyper-threading. I don't believe so. I'm running... I don't think that 3200G will hold it back at all. I was running a 3400G, which 3200 with hyper-threading to it, it was running the RX 580 just fine. Had plenty of headroom. I don't think that 3200G will be bottlenecking it at all. The ASRock Pro 4 B450. B450, $65. That's about a $65 motherboard for that ASRock B450 Pro 4. I think that deep cool air cooler will be fine for that, because I don't see them VRMs producing a whole lot of heat. It's probably going to be the best that you're going to get out of it anyways. Oh, cool. Great. Thanks. I'll go for it then. Yeah, I'd go for it. 3200G with 1660 Super. Yeah, if you can get one a decent deal, which right now it's hard to find a deal on anything. I don't think there's going to be any kind of bottleneck with that system. As far as the ASRock Pro 4 B450, I think you'll be fine with that CPU cooler. I don't think the VRMs are going to be much better on that one than they are on the Gigabyte, because it's like a 70, I just looked it up here, it's like $65 motherboard right now. I don't think it's going to have a very good power delivery to it. I think you'll be fine with that 4 heat pipe air cooler. Anyways, like I say, let me flip you guys back over here. I was very unhappy with these guys, so I sent them all back. I sent back 6 fans and 3 of these setups. You know, these LEDs is junk. 2 of the 6 fans I bought extra wasn't working correctly. $27 for 3 fans and 2 RGB strips. You know, so I actually went and picked up a 5 kit of these. They are a Deep Cool RF120M 5-in-1. They do come, they are PMW fans, so you have more supply, better control over the speed of the fans through the motherboard. They are RGB, which plug into your regular 4-pin header. So they should be pretty compatible with any motherboard you plug them into, as long as they got an RGB header. It does come with 2 fan hubs. It's got 2 fan hubs in the box that runs 4 fans off of each header, which, if you know much about running fans and whatnot in the system, you really shouldn't run no more than 3 fans off any header because of the voltage limitations on per fan header. Couple reasons for this. Number one, you run a chance of your fans not getting enough voltage to them, so they won't run like they should. Number two, you may burn up your header. There are several reasons why you shouldn't run more than 3 fans off of one system fan header. Which B450 motherboard do you prefer for the Ryzen 5 2600 for overclocking for not much money? If you're looking for overclocking on the B450 chipset for the 2600, ASUS all the way. I've dealt with ASRock, I've dealt with MSI, Gigabyte, all of them. Seems like ASUS does the best as far as overclocking goes. Their VRMs is just, they're outstanding. If you're looking for overclocking, I definitely recommend an ASUS board. Let's see what we can find you here. And right now you may be able to find a decent deal on something. ASUS B450. Let's flip you over here. Here I'm on Newegg. I just typed in the B450 from ASUS. Lowest price. The Prime. I run the X470 Prime in mine, and it seemed, I mean, I haven't got to even try to overclock mine yet, but ASUS Prime is $87. MK motherboard, I don't know, I don't think I quite trust that one. ASUS B550 Ryzen 2 Micro ATX gaming motherboard. I mean, if you want to go somewhat modest priced or budget priced, probably the B450 MA. Actually, I think it looks like it's got worse VRMs on it than the one that you got now, or the one you was thinking about getting. Oh, Tough Gaming. There's about $100, and they're made for overclocking. Of course, you probably get a little bit better deals on Amazon on some of these. Depending on what other features and whatnot you need, there's an ASUS Prime Plus. ASUS Tough. Man, the VRMs ain't looking too good on them, actually. What's ASUS doing on the B450 motherboards? Which motherboard was you looking at? Was the ASRock Pro? ASRock usually don't have very good overclocking capabilities. B450s. $65. Well, we'll do this the way that I normally find my motherboards. Let's see, computer components. Motherboards, AMDs. We'll go with the AM4 sockets. Where's the chipset? There's the chipset. We want a B450. 590 motherboards. Imagine that. Of course, we want in stock. Lowest price. ASRock B450M Pro, $55, $60. BioStore, stay away from BioStore. There's a Gigabyte DS3H, which that ain't very good overclocking motherboard either. MSI ain't too bad at the overclocking. Man, the VRMs don't look worth a shit though. MSI Pro, ASRock. Now the Steel Legends, if you could go up to about $75, these Steel Legends is known to be able to overclock. Which it isn't a ASRock motherboard. But if you're willing to go, well, of course that's on sale right now too. If you're looking to buy now, it's dropping from $95 down to $79. But these Steel Legend motherboards is known to be pretty good overclockers as well. I usually go with Asus for overclocking, but ASRock does alright with overclocking. And them Steel Legends are supposed to be up there with some of the better overclocking motherboards. Because you ever watch anybody ever do any LN2 overclocking or anything like that? Most of them use Asus motherboards, and there's a reason for that. Asus has got better capacitors usually, they got better VRMs, and stuff like that. They usually got better built-in BIOSes for overclocking and stuff like that. But if you can go up to $80, I'd probably go with the Steel Legend. You're really looking for overclocking, you really don't want to go much under $100, really. Of course, there's the Asus Prime, but it didn't look like it had very good VRMs on it either. Yeah, so out of the pick that I'm seeing right here real quick, I'd say probably that ASRock Steel Legend would probably be my best bet. I think that'd be your best bet for overclocking. So you prefer the Steel Legend over the Pro 4? Yes, definitely. I'd definitely go with the Steel Legend. And it's just basically because of the way the VRMs look to me. So I don't know if the specs on this thing will tell you about the VRMs or not. They normally don't, because a lot of people that they're trying to sell motherboards to don't really look at the VRM. Yeah, but if I had my choice, I'd take the Steel Legend over the Pro 4. I mean, just by looking at it, it looks like the VRMs, you got a little bit better heat sinks on them. And you can actually, if I get zoomed in there, actually the VRMs look a little bit better underneath the heat sinks. I'd go with the Steel Legend over the Pro 4. But these fans here, the Deep Cool RF120s, this kit I got, comes with 2 fan hubs, which is a 1 to 4-way splitter. Just like I was saying, you really don't want to hook up more than 3 fans to any fan header because of the voltage that they can pull. I got the 5 kit. I think I paid more than that for mine. They got them on sale right now for $50. Let me see what I paid for mine when I ordered mine. Order details. That's going to give away. I don't want to show all that information. Invoice. Yeah, I paid about $65 for them when I bought them. Of course, now they're on sale for a lot less. on sale today for 50 bucks for the 5-pack. But my question is to you guys, do you think $50 for 5 RGB fans that's PMW controlled is a decent deal or not? Now I want to do a video on adding fans and RGB lighting to a system on a budget. You know, you break it down, it's about $30 a fan, or I'm sorry, $13 a fan. You buy each one of these fans individually without the fan hubs and the little bit of extras that come with them. You know, you're looking at about $20 a fan. So by buying them in a 5 kit, you're saving a little bit of money. Which I'm kind of just now getting into the whole RGB and ARGB stuff, and that's what everybody wants. But do you think that's a good deal with being PMW controlled and being able to be controlled through the motherboard? Do you think $13 a fan is a bad price to be paying, and would you consider that budget for adding RGB fans into a computer? That's my questions. What are the specs for your own PC? Well, my PC ain't for the faint of heart. I have the Asus Prime X470. What is it? The X470 Pro, I think. Yeah, I have the Asus Prime X470 Pro motherboard. I have the Ryzen 3950X. I have 16 gigs of G-Skills 5 Ripjaws 5 series RAM running at 3200 megahertz. I've got an Intel 660p NVMe drive for my boot drive. I have a 3 terabyte hard drive that I keep in there for my video files and whatnot. I've got a 2070 Super for the video card. I also have a Corsair 650 watt power supply unit, which I think is just now getting out of warranty. It's about 5 years old or so. It's been through several builds of mine. And it's all housed in the Fractal Design Focus G case. And I do have the Fractal Celsius Plus 280 millimeter all-in-one water cooling on my system. That's the breakdown of my systems and what I've got of it. I don't know, it's way overkill. It certainly ain't no, you know, it started out being a budget rig. There's actually a playlist on the channel of my system and the upgrades I've done to it over the years, over the last year or so. Which I had to start out with the 8370 FX processor, went up to 2400G, went up to 2700G, and now I'm up to 3950X, which I'd still be on the 2700. But I did get into 4K video editing, and that 4K video editing at 8-core processor was kind of lackluster. You know, the videos when I render them out, whenever I edit my videos out now with this one, it's probably a quarter of the time faster than what the 8-core was. That's why I went up to 3950X over the 2700. You know, as far as the video card goes, I don't get to game a whole lot, so that 2070 Super is doing pretty good. But I've been actually on the hunt for the 30 series 3070, if I can ever get my hands on one. Or the 6800, if I can ever get my hands on one. You know, 6800 or 6800 XT graphics card, just for just to be able to have some content for the channel on that stuff. But you know, it's I don't know, it's a work in progress, and that's a good thing about learning to build your own computer. You can kind of upgrade them. You know, once you get your first computer built, you know, you can, you know, upgrade them is fairly simple once you actually learn the concept of building them, and you save yourself a lot of money that way. Matt, I can't really say. I live in Brazilian, where all electronics are more than double the price of the U.S., but to me the fan bundle sounds good, to be honest. Yeah, I think so too. As far as these deep cool fans go for $13 a piece, I think it's a reasonable price for a RGB PMW controlled fan. And of course, you know, I want to do it on a budget, but I'm also looking to sell these systems. So I don't want to do it on such a budget to where I got to worry about fans failing on the customer, you know, where they badmouth me and tell me I'm selling junk and whatnot. So I want something decent. So I don't want to cheap out too much on them. And $13 a fan don't sound to be too bad to me as long as they hold up to what I think they're going to hold up to be. PC spec prices in India are way too overpriced. You would be shocked. I tell you what, with the way everything's going here in the U.S., I'm kind of shocked with the way everything's been going up here in the U.S. with everything that's been going on. PC prices, even here in the U.S., shot up. I mean, just a couple months ago, I paid $100 for a 500 watt power supply. My 650 watt power supply I bought 5 years ago didn't cost me that much money. You know, it's just with the way the economy is, the way the manufacturers can't get the parts produced fast enough and whatnot, it's pretty, it's getting pretty scarce. And these systems that I've built, I'll probably have to take a loss on to even sell them, to even move them. Because just 6 months ago, you get much better deals, much better performance than what you can now for the dollar. And the parts are aging, you know. Verizon's came out with the 5000 series processors, you know. The AMD and Intel both came out with new graphics cards. Whenever I get these systems set up and ready to sell, I may have a hard time selling them. I'll probably have to sell them at a loss just to get rid of them. You know, but it is what it is. Most places outside the U.S., European, etc., are also expensive, unfortunately. I just had to buy a GTX 1650 for $250. A Ryzen 2600 is about $265. Yeah, them's pretty steep prices. Them are pretty steep prices, and right now it's like I said, you know, with everything that's going on, it's, you know, it's really hard for me to recommend to build a computer right now. But there's a video up on the channel about that, you know, why not to build a computer. And, you know, that's 6 months ago that I put that video up, but they still hold true for today. It's just, you know, the prices, you know, even when you use components, the prices have skyrocketed. You know, I mean, I can understand if you have to have one now, or if you have to have an upgrade because your computer can't hold up to what you want it to do and whatnot. And the only reason I've been spending so much money on electronics is for the channel. You know, I've said it several times, you know, the cat's sitting on the $900 build back here. The other one over here is $600 build. And that ain't including the 2 terabyte hard drives I put in each one, you know, and whatnot, getting them prepped to get them sold. But, you know, it's, you know, right now is a bad time to be building your own. Maxter, I've just got a PS5, so wanting a couple of years to get a new PC. Waiting for everything to settle down. Yeah, you know, it's kind of talked about getting a PS5. Kind of strange you mentioned that, because I sat here doing some of the benchmarking over the last few days on that 1650. What is it, 1650 OC I got. And, you know, I plugged the system up, plugged it into my monitor, put it into my Elgato capture card to capture it on my computer, you know, way don't interfere with the numbers and whatnot. Had decided to Uplay account. I had to sign into my Steam account. I had to sign into, what's the one for Fortnite? There's another one there. Another account I had to sign into. And once I signed into all of them, I had to wait for all these games to update. And what happened to the good old days where you just slap a disc into a console and you get to play your games? I don't know. It kind of makes me jealous of some of the console gamers out there. I sit here for 2 or 3 hours waiting for games to download that I don't even, waiting for them to update. So I don't even want to benchmark. But with the way the Steam client is and everything else, they got their own process. They got their own games they want to update. You can't pause them and skip updating that game to update the game that you want to benchmark and whatnot. So I got 2 or 3 hours waiting for games to update. I don't know. I kind of miss the old days. I kind of miss the old consoles, which consoles kind of lean the same way. It's all online. It's all downloadable content. Really ain't many drives left for them. Excuse me. Only 885 gigabytes of storage. Missed the 360 days. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but I don't know, for the, like this morning I was wanting to, actually on Thanksgiving I had a little bit of downtime. I was actually playing Borderlands 3 on my own system. In the original Xbox, yeah. I wanted to play Borderlands 3. So I logged into the account. I forget what it's called. What is it called? Because Borderlands 3 and Fortnite's through the same publisher. The same company makes both games. I just want to play Borderlands 3. Well, I couldn't play Borderlands 3 because it needed updated, but it automatically started updating Fortnite. So I had to wait for Fortnite to update, even though I wasn't wanting to play Fortnite before I could play Borderlands 3. I think it's a bunch of BS. I kind of miss the old days. You slap a disc in the disc drive and you start playing. I don't know. But that's, like I said, that's even where the consoles is leading to anymore. Most of them is downloadable content. But I think them fans are going to be I think it's a pretty good deal. For $13 a fan, you get the RGB that's controlled through the motherboard. And now you have the PMW that gives you a little bit more fan control through the motherboard to control the speed of the fans as necessary. I think that's a pretty budget way to get RGB fans into your case. So yeah, like I showed you guys earlier, the next video coming up will be the, I can't even remember what it was now. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B550 MDS3H motherboard. Which that will have the music added into it, the background music from one of the subscribers that sent me some music. Hoping it don't get demonetized. It ain't shown that it's demonetized, so we'll see how that plays out. Demonetization altered, no warnings. So it should be good with the background music in it. Then I've got the 1650 OC cord. That's the benchmarks for that coming up. I guess I'm gonna go with these for the budget side of adding RGB fans into a case on a budget. I think that's a pretty good deal. I don't know. Like I said, right now you get them for 50 bucks, but I paid 65 for them, so they're a really good deal now, but that's probably because of the season. Which you got that coming up on the channel. I got quite a few more video ideas in my mind, running through my mind. As soon as I get time to do them all, that's my biggest issue, just having the time to do so. But I think that's going to pretty well wrap it up for the day. If you guys have anything else, throw it over there in comments or questions or concerns, throw it over there in chat. If not, I think we'll wrap it up for the day, guys. Got Got some stuff I need to take care of and whatnot. My dogs is probably dying in there in their cages because I do kind of pin them up while I'm doing my live show where they ain't bothering me. Looks like the cat got tired. She done left. But if you like this kind of content, make sure you go down and give me a like. If not, give me a dislike. There's a comment section below. I answer them every Saturday on my live stream here at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. If you really like this kind of content, make sure you go down and hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. That way you'll be notified next time I put out a video or get live here on YouTube. And also, I won't kill your inbox, but I am on Instagram and Twitter. If you like come over there and follow me, I put up photos of new products I have coming in. Kind of give you an idea of what's coming up on the channel. And any kind of information about my live stream, if I got canceled, or if I got to delay it, or if it's going to be late, or if I want to do it early, or if I got to switch the days. That's where you get that kind of information. And with all that being said, you all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream.